In the bustling heart of New York City, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds like ambitious dreams, stood the gleaming headquarters of Apex Innovations, a tech giant revolutionizing the world of artificial intelligence. The company was the brainchild of Alexander Harrington, a charismatic CEO in his mid-30s, whose sharp suits and sharper mind had propelled him to the top of the corporate ladder. Alexander was the epitome of success. Tall, dark-haired, with piercing blue eyes that could command a boardroom or charm an investor with equal ease. But beneath his polished exterior lay a web of secrets, one that was about to unravel in the most dramatic fashion. It was a crisp autumn morning when Bella Harrington stepped into the lobby of Apex Innovations. At 7 months pregnant, her belly swelled prominently under a flowing maternity dress, a soft lavender number that matched the glow on her cheeks. Bella was the picture of quiet elegance, her long auburn hair cascading in loose waves, her green eyes sparkling with the anticipation of impending motherhood. She had married Alexander 2 years ago in a lavish ceremony that made headlines in society pages, but their life together was far from the fairy tale it appeared to be. Lately, Alexander had been distant, buried in late-night meetings and mysterious trips that he dismissed with a wave of his hand. Bella chalked it up to the pressures of running a multi-billion-dollar empire, but deep down, a nagging doubt gnawed at her. Today, she had come to surprise him with lunch, a homemade pasta dish from their favorite Italian recipe, packed in a thermal bag alongside a sonogram photo of their unborn child. It was her way of bridging the gap, of reminding him that amid the chaos of algorithms and acquisitions, they were building a family. The lobby buzzed with activity. Employees hurried to elevators, the scent of fresh coffee wafting from the cafe nook, and the massive digital screens displaying the company's latest breakthroughs. Bella smiled at the receptionist, who buzzed her through with a cheerful, "Mrs. Harrington, always a pleasure." As she made her way toward the executive suites on the 45th floor, the elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. Stepping out, she navigated the plush carpeted halls adorned with abstract art pieces that screamed modern wealth. But something caught her eye, or rather, her ear. Raised voices echoed from around the corner, near the glass-walled conference room that overlooked the city skyline. Curiosity piqued. Bella slowed her pace, her hand instinctively resting on her belly as if to shield the baby from whatever drama was unfolding. Peering discreetly, she saw Alexander locked in what appeared to be an intimate embrace with a woman she didn't recognize. The stranger was stunning in a predatory sort of way. Sleek black hair pulled into a severe ponytail, blood-red lipstick, and a form-fitting designer dress that hugged her curves like a second skin. She was draped over Alexander, her manicured nails tracing patterns on his tie, while he murmured something that made her laugh, a low, throaty sound that sent a chill down Bella's spine. This wasn't a business meeting, this was flirtation, raw and unapologetic. Bella's heart plummeted. Who was this woman? And why was her husband entertaining her like this in broad daylight? Before she could process the betrayal, the woman, let's call her Victoria Slade, spotted Bella in the doorway. Victoria's eyes narrowed into slits of disdain, her full lips curling into a smirk. She was the company's rising star, a marketing executive poached from a rival firm, known for her ruthless ambition and the rumors that swirled around her like smoke. Victoria had set her sights on Alexander from day one, viewing Bella as nothing more than an inconvenient obstacle, a soft-hearted homemaker who didn't belong in their cutthroat world. Well, Victoria sneered, disentangling herself from Alexander but not before planting a deliberate kiss on his cheek. Look what the cat dragged in. The little wifey, all bloated and burdensome. Alexander's face drained of color as he turned, his eyes widening in shock. Bella, what are you doing here? His voice was a mix of guilt and irritation, as if her presence was an unwelcome interruption to his illicit rendezvous. Bella stood frozen, the lunch bag dangling limply from her hand. I brought you lunch, Alex. To surprise you. Her voice trembled, but she held her ground, refusing to let tears fall in front of this interloper. The sonogram peeked out from the bag like a silent accusation. Victoria laughed, a sharp, mocking sound that echoed off the glass walls. How quaint. Playing house while your husband builds an empire. Newsflash, darling, you're yesterday's news. Alex here needs a real woman, not some knocked-up liability. With that, she snatched the lunch bag from Bella's grasp, her jealousy boiling over into outright aggression. In a flash, she swung the bag like a weapon, slamming it into Bella's shoulder with surprising force. The impact sent Bella stumbling back against the wall, the thermal container bursting open and spilling pasta sauce across the pristine carpet in a red, messy stain that mirrored the blood rushing to her face. Pain shot through Bella's arm, but worse was the jolt to her abdomen, a sharp twinge that made her gasp and clutch her belly protectively. The baby kicked in response, as if sensing the turmoil. What the hell is wrong with you? Bella cried out, her voice breaking as she slid down the wall, tears finally spilling over. Alexander stepped forward, his face a mask of horror. Victoria, stop. That's my wife. But his words came too late, the damage was done. He reached out to help Bella, but she recoiled, betrayal etched in every line of her features. Victoria tossed the now empty bag aside, dusting her hands as if she'd just swatted a fly. Oops. Guess I got carried away. But seriously, Alex, when are you going to wise up? She's holding you back. She sauntered toward the door, hips swaying defiantly, leaving a trail of expensive perfume in her wake. The commotion had drawn attention. Doors cracked open along the hallway, whispers rippling through the staff like wildfire. And that's when he appeared, Marcus Reed, the head of security for Apex Innovations. Towering at 6'4", with a broad chest honed by years of disciplined training, Marcus was a formidable presence. His close-cropped hair, stern jawline, and piercing gray eyes gave him the air of someone who had stared down danger and emerged unscathed. Dressed in a crisp black suit that concealed the scars of his past, he moved with the quiet efficiency of a man who had once led platoons through hostile territories as an ex-Marine. Alexander had hired Marcus 6 months ago on the recommendation of a trusted advisor, impressed by his impeccable resume, multiple tours in Afghanistan, commendations for valor, and a post-military career in private security that included protecting high-profile executives. What Alexander didn't know, what no one at Apex knew, was that Marcus was Bella's older brother. The two had grown up in a modest family in rural Pennsylvania, where Marcus had always been her protector, shielding her from bullies and heartbreaks during their teenage years. When Bella announced her whirlwind romance with Alexander, Marcus had been skeptical but supportive, vowing to keep an eye on things from afar. His job at Apex was no coincidence, he'd pulled strings to get in, ensuring he could watch over his sister without her knowledge, especially now that she was vulnerable with child. Marcus had been monitoring the security feeds from his office 1 floor below when the alert pinged, a disturbance in the executive wing. Bursting into the hallway, he took in the scene. Bella on the floor, sauce splattered everywhere, Alexander hovering awkwardly, and Victoria smirking from the sidelines. His blood ran cold. Bella. He growled, his voice a low rumble that commanded immediate silence. She looked up, her eyes widening in a mix of relief and embarrassment. Marcus. What are you? But he wasn't listening. His gaze locked on Victoria, who now looked a tad less confident under his scrutinizing stare. You, he barked, pointing a thick finger at her. Step away from my sister. Now. Alexander blinked in confusion. Your sister. Marcus, what are you talking about? Do you know Bella? Victoria, sensing the shift in power, tried to play it cool. Oh, please. This is ridiculous. Security head or not, you can't just. In one fluid motion, Marcus closed the distance, his marine-honed instincts kicking in. He grabbed Victoria's arm, not harshly, but firmly enough to make her wince, and escorted her toward the elevator. Assault on a pregnant woman. That's a felony, lady. You're coming with me. His voice was steel, brooking no argument. The lobby below erupted into chaos as Marcus marched Victoria down, security protocols activating automatically. Employees gawked, phones coming out to capture the spectacle. Alexander followed, stammering apologies to Bella, who was being helped to her feet by a concerned assistant. I had no idea, Bella. Marcus is her brother. How did I not know this? Bella, still reeling from the hit and the emotional whiplash, managed a weak smile through her tears. He's always been my guardian angel, Alex. And now, thanks to that witch, the whole world knows. As the elevator descended, Marcus radioed for backup, his mind racing. He'd seen combat, defused bombs, but nothing prepared him for protecting family in the Viper's nest of corporate intrigue. Victoria, realizing the gravity, began to plead. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. I didn't mean to hurt the baby or anything. Save it, Marcus snapped. The CEO might not have known who I am, but you just made a big mistake crossing the wrong marine. Back on the executive floor, Bella sat in a chair, an ice pack from the office first aid kit pressed to her shoulder. The twinge in her belly had subsided, but the emotional scars ran deeper. Alexander knelt before her, his hands trembling as he took hers. Forgive me, please. It was nothing, just office flirtation. Victoria's been pushing, but I swear. Flirtation. Bella interrupted, her voice gaining strength. She hit me, Alex. With our baby's lunch. And you let it happen. Down in the security office, Victoria was being questioned, her bravado crumbling under Marcus's unrelenting glare. You think you can touch my pregnant sister and walk away? I've taken down threats bigger than you in war zones. This is personal now. Alexander arrived, piecing it together. Marcus, you're Bella's brother. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't trust you fully, Marcus admitted bluntly, his eyes never leaving Victoria. But now, with this, you're going to make it right. Fire her, press charges if Bella wants, and prove you're worthy of my sister. The incident spread like wildfire through the company intranet and beyond, whispers of the Mistress meltdown becoming office legend. Bella, supported by her brother, decided to take time off, but not before Alexander promised change, counseling, transparency, the works. Victoria was escorted out in handcuffs, her career in ruins, muttering curses about that meddling Marine. In the days that followed, Apex Innovations faced a PR nightmare, but it also humanized Alexander in the eyes of his staff. Bella and Marcus grew closer, their sibling bond unbreakable, while Alexander learned a hard lesson. In the game of power and passion, family ties could be the ultimate wildcard. The hit with the bag had been more than physical. It was the catalyst for truth, redemption, and perhaps, a stronger family unit emerging from the ashes of betrayal. Word count. 1023. The hospital room was a sterile cocoon, the beeps of monitors punctuating the tense silence like accusations. Elena lay in the bed, her swollen belly rising and falling with shallow breaths, a purple bruise blooming across her cheek where Victoria's designer bag had struck. The impact had been more than physical. It had shattered the fragile illusion of her marriage to Marcus, the powerful CEO whose empire spanned tech conglomerates and shadowy investments. She clutched the bedsheet, her mind replaying the chaos at the gala, the flash of Victoria's smug grin, the swing of that heavy Hermes purse, and the crowd's gasps as Elena crumpled to the floor, protecting her unborn child instinctively. Marcus paced the hallway outside, his phone glued to his ear, barking orders at underlings to contain the scandal. Get the PR team on it. Spin it as a misunderstanding. And find out who leaked that video, heads will roll. He didn't know yet that the misunderstanding was far from over. Elena's brother, Jax, the head of Marcus's own security detail, had been there, blending into the shadows as always. Jax, with his marine-honed instincts and a grudge as deep as the ocean trenches he'd once navigated in covert ops. He was the one who'd pulled Elena away, his face a mask of professional detachment, but his eyes burning with fury. Inside the room, Elena stirred as the door creaked open. It wasn't Marcus, it was Jax, slipping in like a ghost. His broad shoulders filled the frame, the tailored suit hiding scars from battles long past. Ellie, he whispered, using her childhood nickname. How's the little one? She managed a weak smile, tears welling. The baby's fine. Doctors say no complications, just bed rest. Her voice cracked. But Jax, what are we going to do? Marcus still doesn't know about you. About us being family. Jax's jaw tightened. He'd taken the security job 2 years ago, right after Elena married Marcus, at her insistence. To keep an eye on things, she'd said, worried about the rumors of Marcus's wandering eye. Jax had agreed, burying his identity under layers of forged documents and a stoic facade. Ex-Marine turned private security expert, no one questioned his credentials. But now, with Victoria's assault caught on camera and viral across social media, the facade was cracking. I saw it all, Jax said, sitting on the edge of the bed. That witch swung at you like you were nothing. If I hadn't held back. His fists clenched. In the Marines, he'd learned restraint, but family was sacred. Victoria, Marcus's not-so-secret mistress, had crossed a line. Elena placed a hand on his arm. You can't blow your cover. Not yet. Marcus trusts you, ironically, you're his right-hand man for protection. A bitter laugh escaped Jax. Yeah, protecting his assets while he destroys my sister's life. He'd uncovered plenty in his role. Marcus's offshore accounts, the bribes, the affairs. But Elena had begged him to stay silent, clinging to hope that fatherhood would change her husband. The door swung open again, and Marcus strode in, his face a storm cloud. Elena, darling, how are you feeling? He leaned down to kiss her forehead, but she turned away slightly. Jax stood quickly, nodding deferentially. Sir. Jax, good man. Thanks. For getting her out of there so fast. Any leads on who started the fight? Marcus asked, his eyes narrowing. Jax kept his expression neutral. Appears to be a personal altercation, sir. The woman, Victoria Lang, she's been associated with some of your events before. Marcus's face paled for a split second before he recovered. Right. Handle the police discreetly. I don't want this blowing up. As Marcus turned to Elena, Jax excused himself, stepping into the hall. His phone buzzed, an encrypted message from an old Marine buddy now in private intel. Victoria's digging dirt on Elena. Possible setup. Watch your back. Jax's blood ran cold. This wasn't just a jealous spat. Victoria was playing for keeps, aiming to oust Elena and claim Marcus's fortune. He needed to act, but without revealing himself. Back in the room, Marcus was spinning his web of lies. It was an accident, Elena. Victoria's unstable. I'll cut her off. Focus on our baby. He placed a hand on her belly, but she flinched. Accident. She hit me on purpose, Marcus. And you've been seeing her for months. The words hung heavy, fueled by the pain meds loosening her tongue. Marcus sighed, running a hand through his perfectly coiffed hair. It's complicated. Business entanglements. But you're my wife. The mother of my heir. Elena wanted to scream, but exhaustion won. As Marcus left to handle things, she texted Jax, come back. We need a plan. Jax returned, locking the door behind him. All right, sis. Time to end this charade. But carefully. They huddled, voices low. Jax outlined what he'd learned. Victoria wasn't just a mistress, she was tied to a rival firm, feeding them Marcus's secrets. The bag incident. A deliberate provocation to force a divorce, painting Elena as unstable. She's got photos, emails, fabricated stuff to make you look bad. Elena's eyes widened. How do we stop her without dragging you into it? Jax grinned, a predator's smile. I don't stay hidden forever. First, I plant evidence in Marcus's system, anonymous tips about Victoria's betrayal. Let him turn on her. As they plotted, the hospital intercom crackled, announcing visiting hours over. Jax slipped out, but not before hugging Elena fiercely. I've got your six, always. The next day dawned with tabloids screaming headlines, CO's love triangle explodes. Marcus was in damage control mode, holed up in his penthouse office. Jax stood guard outside, earpiece in, monitoring feeds. Victoria arrived unannounced, storming past security with a haughty wave. I need to see him. Now. Jax blocked her path, his frame unyielding. Appointment only, ma'am. She sneered. Do you know who I am? Marcus will fire you for this. Jax's eyes locked on hers. I know exactly who you are. The woman who assaulted a pregnant lady. Victoria faltered, then pushed forward. Out of my way, grunt. That's when Jax's patience snapped. He grabbed her arm, not hard, but firm, whispering, touch my sister again, and you'll regret it. Her eyes bulged. Sister. What? Before she could react, Marcus's door opened. What's going on here? Jax released her, stepping back. Just ensuring safety, sir. Victoria composed herself, entering the office with a venomous glance back. Inside, she pleaded her case. Marcus, that video is edited. Elena provoked me. But Marcus, thanks to Jax's planted intel, waved a tablet. What's this? Emails to my competitors. You're done, Victoria. She gasped. Lies. Framed. As security, Jax's team escorted her out. She spat at Jax, you'll pay for this. That night, Elena was discharged, returning to their sprawling mansion under Jax's watchful eye. Marcus was contrite, promising reform. I'll make it right, he said, helping her to bed. But Elena knew better. In the quiet hours, she confided in Jax over a secure line. He's lying. I found transfers to Victoria's account, recent ones. Jax nodded from his post outside. Then we escalate. I've got dirt on his embezzlement. Anonymous leak to the board. The plan unfolded swiftly. Jax, using his marine tech skills, hacked into Marcus's private server, nothing traceable. He fed incriminating files to a whistleblower site. By morning, the news hit. CEO embroiled in fraud scandal. Marcus raged, firing advisors left and right. Find the leak. He bellowed at Jax. Sir, it could be internal. I'll investigate. As the news tightened, Victoria struck back. She cornered Elena at a prenatal checkup, somehow slipping past guards. You think you won. Marcus loves me. That baby won't save you. Elena stood tall, hand on her belly. Leave, or I'll call security. Victoria laughed. Your brother's little secret. I know now. Jax Thorne, ex-Marine, your sibling. How cute. Marcus will love that betrayal. Elena's heart pounded. How? I have my ways. Victoria lunged, but this time, Elena dodged, grabbing a nearby vase and smashing it as alarm. Jax burst in, having tailed them discreetly. Step back. Victoria whirled. You. The brother bodyguard. Priceless. Jax subdued her gently, calling police. As cuffs clicked, she hissed, this isn't over. In the aftermath, Marcus confronted them in the mansion's grand hall. Jax. Elena's brother. You've been spying on me. Jax faced him squarely. Protecting her. From you. Marcus's face twisted. You're fired. Both of you, out. Elena stepped forward. No, Marcus. I'm leaving you. Divorce papers are ready. And the board knows everything. Defeated, Marcus slumped. The empire crumbled around him, stocks tanked, investigations loomed. Weeks later, Elena and Jax sat in a cozy cabin, far from the city. Her belly fuller, the baby kicking vigorously. Thank you, brother, she said. Jax smiled. Family first. Always. As snow fell outside, they toasted to new beginnings, the shadows of betrayal fading into the past. Elena's hand rested on her child, a symbol of hope amid the ruins. Jax, ever the guardian, watched over them, his marine vigilance unbroken. The world moved on, but their bond, forged in secrecy and strife, endured. Word count 1023.